not including spring break even. So you should have plenty of days to complete every lesson. If for some reason there's a terrible weather event and school's canceled for like 3 or 4 days and we find that we've fallen quite behind on our lessons, it is okay to skip the lessons that have an X on the tab. Some of our sister councils have just an 8-week season instead of a 10-week season like we do, and that's primarily because they're located far up north where they literally don't have daylight. You know, daylight ends at 4 o'clock for them, so they just do it. I know, aren't we lucky?
Not away.
Right, I'm with you. So those X's there, you can skip those if you need to. We don't encourage you to do that on the front end, but certainly if you need to, those lessons can be skipped so that you can stay on track. There's also a sheet in here called the front office Goder info. This is a really helpful sheet to fill out before your first practice and give to your front office person. I know that Annie and I talked about that yesterday. Those are the gatekeepers of the school. So it's good to get in good with the front office staff, and if you can give them this, it just has a coach's names and contact numbers on here. It tells them where Goder is gonna be dismissed, you know, where we're gonna be, so they're just aware of where we are during practice time. You also have blank paper because some of the lessons call for a sheet of blank paper. And lastly, the coach allowance paperwork is in here. Every season, every team gets a $10 per girl coach allowance. So if you have 15 girls on your team, that's $150 that you have to spend at your discretion. That can be used for anything from snacks that you purchase, which by the way, you are not required to purchase by any means, but some people do. It could be snacks that you purchase just for special occasions like your practice 5K or your final celebration. It can be used to purchase things that maybe you're gonna purchase, like fun socks to wear at the 5K, so everybody on your team has some kind of fun themed socks going on. That's totally at your discretion. Just save your receipts, and whenever you've reached your allowance and are ready to send it in, it's all ready for you to do so, and Lindy will write you a check and get it out to you. Any questions about that? Okay.
I have a question about
Yeah.
that. One of the coaches mentioned that she bought like little charms for the girls last year when they completed their
Laps.
laps
Yeah.
or running. I think it was even more than that, cause I guess it was for each week or whatever, but is it a good idea to do different things each year since a lot of the girls are repeating? Like,
Yeah,
if they already
I
got
think
them last
so.
year,
Yeah.
because they were saying like, oh, they love them, we should do that again, but I was like, but if they got them last year, maybe
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
we
totally
should do
agree.
something different,
Yeah, I did
right?
something different the 3 seasons in a row that I was a coach too for that reason.
Yeah.
You know, the jelly bracelets were fun one season, but then they kind of lost their charm after a while,
Right.
so.
Right.
And it can be as simple, we don't start counting laps with the girls until like lesson 3 or 4. The first couple lessons are just kind of getting to know you, getting used to the program. It can be as simple as even just writing a mark on their hand or
Right.
something. It doesn't have to be something you purchase, just FYI, so. Lastly, there's a little sticker sheet in there because one of the lessons calls for stickers, and these were so fragile and good, I just stuck them in here, so they're safe. So that's the manila folder contents. Head coach responsibilities, you guys are our point person for our staff throughout the season, so if any issues arise on your team, whether it's an issue with girl attendance, coach attendance, you're having trouble with the school because, you know, Let Me Run is using your same running space, whatever it might be, you reach out to me and let me know and we help you resolve that. You guys will also be expected to communicate with your Goder families pre-season, meaning this week when you send your welcome email and or phone call / text, whichever you prefer. And then on a weekly basis throughout the season. Feel free to delegate these responsibilities though, just because you're the head coach doesn't mean that you have to. If Carrie and I were coaching, I might say, hey, can you take the family emails? And she'd probably be happy to. We make it pretty easy for you. In that Google Drive that I have for you to access, there's literal templates in there that you can copy and paste. So you don't have to create your own email every week for the families. The emails say, hey, this week at Girls on the Run, we talked about friendships and we talked about, you know, how to be a good friend. And it says everything. There's conversation starters in there for the families to ask their girls about practice. So it's just a copy and paste. It's pretty easy. We'll ask that you review your team health information prior to the season starting. Hopefully everybody got their rosters, and I highlighted anything that jumped out at me. There wasn't a whole lot, but you should have that.
Where do we have that, the rosters?
I sent you a roster in an Excel spreadsheet. Did you get it?
I don't think so.
Maybe I didn't send Pleasant Knoll, but I will do that. Can you write me a note, Carrie?
Mhm.
Pleasant Knoll.
Sure can.
The other place, Miranda, that you'll find it is in the Pinwheel attendance tracker. Have you been able to download?
I was
and
just
plug in
looking at
that?
it and I stopped because it was asking for payment information and all
No,
this
we don't
stuff.
want to, nothing costs in there. Has anyone else been able to get in?
I don't know if this
Okay.
is the right pinwheel. but-
Okay, we can
Yeah,
show
they're
you
pinwheel.
after.
We're actually gonna go through it during
Yeah,
some of
we
this,
can
and I
show
can
you.
help after.
Cause that's what you'll really use like at practice, cause in there you'll track attendance. Everyone is automatically by default set to being in attendance. And then if like Annie weren't here that day, I would just click that and it would say Annie wasn't here. You're also responsible again for this team backpack. So you'll get it tonight and then please make sure it gets back to us in good shape. We'll have you turn them in at the 5K so it's easy for you. And then coach allowance paperwork. It doesn't mean you have to be the only coach that purchases something. You know, if Carrie wants to purchase something and bring it in, I would just obviously ask for her receipt, tuck it in that envelope. And also you'll collaborate with your other co-coaches for successful lesson delivery. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to talk to your co-coaches yet, but we have asked all coaches at New Coach Training to please let their star power shine and jump in. Everybody came to that same training, so everybody's capable of doing all of the same things. I don't want anybody to just let the head coach, you know, tell me what to do. I'm just here as an assistant. No, we're all here to coach. So you might want to get with them and say like, hey, how do you want to divvy this up? Like some teams prefer that like Carrie's gonna coach on Mondays and I'm gonna coach on Wednesdays. Obviously we're both present, but Carrie's gonna more or less lead the lesson on Monday and I'm gonna kind of be a supporting role and then we'll flip and I'll do Wednesday. And that just kind of takes the load off of everybody. But it's definitely helpful if every coach has at least looked over the lesson before you show up and at least knows what to do. Because if Carrie's leading the lesson on Monday, I know that I'm gonna have to be setting up cones for her for this activity. I know that we're gonna be passing out index cards. I have those ready. I'm not just waiting for Carrie to tell me what to do, because that can be exhausting, right? To be the person in charge all the time. So make sure you collaborate with your co-coaches. All right, important season dates. You guys know that we've asked you to call and email families by Saturday. Our season begins on Monday, Tuesday if you're a Tuesday team. The final day that we can add girls to your team, if you still have spots on the team, is the second practice. They would have to be signed up by your second practice, okay? Mid-season meeting will be on March 11th. More details to come on that. It's not a big, huge meeting. You're gonna pick up like your shirts for the race, the 5K and things like that. More information to come. Again, we follow school calendars, so if you're an early release or you're a teacher work day, Girls on the Run doesn't meet. And then our Goder 5K will be on Saturday, May the 3rd, 8 a.m. All right, so this is what Pinwheel looks like if you were to log in from your laptop or your computer at home. This is my information for my team here. Most of you are gonna be using it from your phone though, as I would imagine. Hey, Crystal.
Hey, I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine, come on and we'll get you a seat. So this is what the Pinwheel attendance tracker should look like, Miranda. If you've opened it up, it kind of looks like this. This is their emblem here. The first time you ever download the app, you're gonna have to request a login
Using the email address that you signed up or volunteered to coach with.
as a coach, yeah.
Is
That's
that
the-
not it? That
the first step.
That is not it, nope.
So with the Pinwheel attendance tracker, you guys, like I said, will be able to track attendance. You'll also have quick access to girls' emergency contact information. Their shirt sizes are in there as well. You can track energy awards at every session. That way you'll be able to keep track of who got one, who still hasn't got one and needs one. It'll highlight the upcoming birthdays of your girls and coaches. And you'll also have quick access to your site information. So if you were to have to call 911 for any reason and they're like, well, where are you? You'll have your Orchard Park's address will be in there, for example. So you'll be able to give that to emergency responders. From the app, you can easily send emails and texts to your participant, their families, obviously, not the girls, to your volunteers, meaning your other co-coaches. And you can also leave notes for me in there, which I do appreciate. So if you have a girl that was absent that day, if you could just make a quick note in there about why she was absent, if you know, that would be extremely helpful. Like, Carrie's out today because we heard she broke her arm, or Carrie is out today with the flu, or whatever it is. That's helpful for me to know, because as those absences accrue, I sometimes have to go back and say, are they missing because they're doing other things, or were they truly sick?
And I'm gonna jump in on that one too. If you guys can, when you're reaching out to your families, ask families to let you know if
That's
the
right
girls
there.
aren't going to be there.
Highlighted everything.
Okay.
I know, we learned that last season.
Yeah.
That's like our pro tip now.
Sorry.
Yeah, definitely. If a girl is not coming, or she's absent, that's a good point. Ask why, like maybe reach out to the mom or the parent, the caregiver, because it is a safety issue. Carrie's right, like the school, you know, maybe that child is typically a bus rider, but on Tuesdays and Thursdays, they're supposed to be at Goder. We wanna make sure they're where they're supposed to be. You know, it becomes a safety issue if the girls aren't there. So try to reach out and find out why a kiddo wasn't there if they're not, please. Girls on your roster or not in your Pinwheel app, they're not going to be able to stay at practice. A lot of times during the first week, not a lot, but it happens that girls come and they're like, my mom signed me up. If they're not on your roster, they're not signed up and they can't stay. You should escort her to the front office and have the front office contact her family. If her family wants to jump online right then and there and sign her up, she is welcome to come right back to practice and be with y'all. But she can't stay at practice. It's a liability issue for our council to not have her emergency contact information captured. So just make sure that girls are there who are truly on your roster. Girls are not allowed to routinely arrive late or early. You may want to mention this to your families in your welcome email that you send them. We've told them repeatedly, but it never hurts to hear it maybe a third or fourth time. A lot of our teams have wait lists where there were other girls that would have loved the opportunity to participate. So if you have a girl that thinks that she's only going to come on Tuesdays, but on Thursdays I do dance, so I won't be there, that's not going to work. Okay, so try to catch that on the front end so that it's an easy fix for us. Girls can't miss more than 4 lessons, obviously excludes illness and injury, but if they're just like routinely missing, like I said, to go to another activity, that's not gonna work for us. Parents and caregivers cannot attend practice. They have to be an approved volunteer with us to be able to stay. A lot of parents, obviously, teachers are probably used to this, sit in their car in the parking lot and might sit out there the full 90 minutes that you practice and wait. That, you know, they can do that, but they can't be at practice. They can't be with your girls. Coaches are also expected to attend practice consistently. And we were just talking about this, at least 2 coaches have to be present at all times. So if you find yourself in a bind where there's gonna be not 2 coaches there, reach out and let us know. And Madison can probably come out and help out. One of us can come out and help out. I reach out to my network of past coaches to see if one of them might be willing to step in, but we do need at least 2 trained coaches present. And anybody who's gonna step in does have to be approved by us, so. And usually it's fine if it's like a teacher especially that's gonna jump in and help, I just have to know ahead of time. All right, coaches are required, we talked about this in new coach training, please don't skip the lessons, combine the lessons or modify them. Like I said, there's a buffer week built in there, so there shouldn't be any need to skip anything. But if you do, those 4 lessons can be skipped. Let us know, again, what we said earlier, if girls are involved in other clubs or activities on Goder days and times, we'll be happy to reach out to the family and have that conversation about why that's not allowed. Let us know if a girl decides to withdraw from your team, please, because we do order supplies that are needed, like Carrie's gonna be ordering a lot of t-shirts and things like that. There's no need to spend the money if a girl has withdrawn, so if you could give us a heads up if somebody withdraws, excuse me. And then notify us if coaches aren't showing up to practice. I don't anticipate this would happen, but I did find out last season that a coach took like a part-time job, and I wasn't aware of that. It wasn't a problem because there were plenty of coaches there, but it would have been nice to know that the coach had taken a part-time job and wasn't coaching girls on the run any longer. And our coach policy manual with all the really fun and interesting policies is located in that Google Drive if anybody's interested to read through that as well. That'll always live there. Okay, I also highlighted on this spreadsheet how girls get home, just so you know, but it's in the Pinwheel attendance app too. So it will say that they're either picked up by a parent or guardian, they go to an after-school program, some of them are walkers if you have a walker program or a bicycle riding program at your school, but only authorized individuals can pick up or transport them home if they're to be picked up. And it will say in the app who those people are, and families can continue to add to that list as much as they want. They can put 100 names in there all throughout the season, and you'll find that they will. They'll start emailing you as the weeks go on because they're realizing that their buddy is doing it too, so why don't we just carpool with that family? And that's perfectly fine. Just shoot me a message or have them email me directly, and I will add that person, the new person's name, into the app so that you'll see it. Check IDs the first week until you become familiar with your families. The families have been advised that you will be asking for them, so it shouldn't come as a surprise to them. Just make sure that you're checking those the first week. Once you become familiar with the faces in the vehicles, that's no longer necessary to do, but please do so the first week. Our late pickup policy is as follows. That's 10 minutes or more. We're pretty strict about this. We know that you guys have big hearts, so you wouldn't be sitting here, but don't get taken advantage of. If somebody is 10 minutes late or more, even just once, let us know. We will document it and we'll follow the procedure and the protocol right there, okay? You can leave me a note in the attendance app, or you can email me directly, but let's squash it early on so that it doesn't become an ongoing problem for you. All right, some of this is redundant. Position coaches in a way so that they can be seen at all times. We had a question from somebody earlier. A lot of schools, you have a small track or a bus loop that they use. Some of the girls ask, can we run around the whole school, like make it a longer loop? That's okay to do if you have eyes on them everywhere. It's probably not likely if you only have 2 coaches at your school that you can see 15 girls going around the whole campus. So just make sure that wherever you're running, they're visible at all times. Girls should not be re-entering the school without a coach. Always use the buddy system when using the restrooms. We talked about that at new coach training. We talked about sub-coaches needing to be approved. Along with parents not being allowed at practice, we also can't have non-program participants or younger siblings attend practice. Again, a liability issue for our council to have anyone there that's not a registered participant in our program. And teams must remain on campus or your designated practice space. If you have a nearby park to your school, please don't walk over to it. That's not included in our insurance policy. So teams should only be meeting in your designated practice zone. If any girls on your team need any running shoes, jogging bras, shorts, running leggings, whatever it is, just let me know, just send me a message. We have shoes in the back closet here. We have a shoe program through Girls on the Run International that we can order shoes for girls who may need them. Just let me know, we'll be happy to get those. If you think that family's not able to swing that, we can, okay? So just reach out, let me know. Girls on the Run will meet rain or shine. Obviously, if there's really inclement weather and school is canceled, we cancel as well. Otherwise, we do meet rain or shine. We told you guys in coach training to expect some speed bumps that first week or 2. It happens, I remember being there too. It's okay, you probably won't get through the whole lesson. You'll be like, oh my God, I was so rushed the first day. That's totally normal, you're not alone. And again, any questions or concerns that you have this season, no matter what it's about, just bring them to our attention as soon as possible so we can help you work through them. You're our eyes and ears out there. We wish we could be at all 25 practices every day, but we can't, we're just 4 people. So again, just bring any issues to us as soon as possible so that we can help you work through them. Again, Madison will be doing site visits. We may do them as well. They're always scheduled. We're not just gonna come out and surprise you. We come out, we take pictures, sometimes we bring sponsors. Lindy might bring a new board member to show them kind of what we're about, show them the program in action. Madison will come out to ensure that the program is being delivered as intended, and that the curriculum is being followed, so that every girl in our program, regardless of what team she's on, whether it's Pleasant Knoll or Discovery or India Hook, they're all getting the same program experience. Obviously, you're putting your own flair on the lessons, but we want the lessons to be delivered, you know, pretty in a like manner throughout the entire country. And obviously, we come out to help problem solve issues or concerns. So if you have an issue that you would like us to come out for and you want Madison to come out, just shoot us a message and we can send Madison out. And she also offers helpful suggestions based on her experience. So next steps tonight, you'll take home your team backpack and supplies. I would suggest coordinating with your co-coaches to get them their curriculum books as soon as possible so that they can start looking at lesson 1, 2, and everybody arrives fully prepared and ready to hit the ground running on your first day of practice. Download that Pinwheel attendance app, which it sounds like everybody has, and reach out to your families no later than Saturday. Keep checking your roster. If you have space on your team for newly added girls, like I said, we can take them all the way through next week. They'll just have to be signed up by your second practice. So once you've reached out, if you reach out to all your families tomorrow, just keep checking so that you can reach out to any new families that register from now and then. And lace up your sneakers, get ready to have a blast. And lastly, in the Pinwheel app, all the girls' shirt sizes are in there. These are the shirts that you guys will be wearing to the 5K. Coaches will get one, girls will get one. They look like what you see up here in the wall. They're gonna be a teal color this spring, FYI. The parents all put the girls' shirt sizes in when they signed them up for the program, but sometimes parents put in the wrong size. So if you have a little girl that's this tall and mom has ordered her an adult XL, you might wanna shoot me a message and say, you know, Abigail is not an adult 2XL, she really needs like a youth medium. I'll make that change in the computer. I need to have that change by Thursday of the first week of practice, please, because Carrie will be putting in that big bulk t-shirt order on Friday. And once it's in, we can't make any changes. We've had the order a little, but not a lot. So check those shirt sizes. Just kind of eyeball your girls and make sure their shirt sizes look good. And if not, let me know.
Same with coach shirt sizes too. Sometimes we just, you know, they're all drop down. So just make sure that you guys check those and that they're right so we get the ones you guys need.
Yeah, we had one coach one season that lost like a ton of weight. She
Yeah.
was like, I'm happy to say I don't need an adult 2XL anymore, so you never know, sometimes that changes too. And that's it. Any questions, you guys?
I feel like I have questions about the app, but
Yeah.
I guess once I start using it,
Yeah, there was a little video that we